Can you solve all these magnetic properties questions? Magnetic permeability. You chose magnetic permeability, and it is correct. Relative magnetic permeability. Strong choice. Relative magnetic permeability is the right answer. Units for magnetic flux density? Well picked. WBM2 is the correct answer. Magnetic induction is defined as? Excellent choice. Magnetic flux area is the right answer. Magnetic field is created due to? Correct. Steady current is the right answer. The magnetic tape contained dash tracks. Smart move. 9 is an accurate answer. What type of field surrounds a magnet? Nice work. You chose magnetic field, and it is correct. The unit of magnetic field intensity is? Clear logic. Your choice NWB is sound and 100% true. What is the direction of magnetic lines? Perfect. North to south is the correct choice. Which is not a type of magnetic materials? Good job. Your answer, electromagnetic materials, works well here. Typical size of magnetic domains dash. Great job. 0.05 is the accurate answer. The magnetic susceptibility of silver is dash. Well done. 2.615 is the right choice. This property indicates the power of a magneto. Smart pick. Magnetic field is the correct choice. What causes the magnetic properties of a material? Excellent. Movement of electrons is a brilliant choice. Magnetic susceptibility ferromagnetic materials is? Good thinking. 105 is the right answer. What type of materials can become temporary magnets? Great thinking. Ferromagnetic materials is the right choice. Which materials have permanent magnetic dipole moment? Right again. Ferromagnetic materials is a valid answer. Diamagnetic material dash the magnetic lines of forces. Bravo. Repel is the answer. The space in which the magnetic effects exists is called. Correct response. The magnetic field is the most accurate answer. The relative permeability of a magnetic material is dash. Exactly. 2-1 makes sense and it is right choice. Which item would the magnetic domains be the most unaligned? Solid response. Glass jar is a valid choice. In hysteresis loss, the loss of energy is in the form of dash. Valid point. Heat is true. By the motion of domain walls, we applied dash magnetic field. Sharp thinking. Small is the right choice. Which materials have negative or zero magnetic susceptibility? Nicely done. Diamagnetic materials is a solid answer. A compass can help you to determine this property of a magneto. Right choice. Orientation is the best answer. What type of magnetic materials is not affected by temperature? On track. Diamagnetic is the correct answer. Which the following arises from the intrinsic spin of electrons? Nice selection. Spin magnetic moment is the correct and valid answer. Which materials exhibit a magnetic effect called ferromagnetism?
You got it. Your choice, iron, is right.
What is the magnetic attraction or repulsion of a magnet called? Well reasoned. The magnetic force is the correct choice. Which type of magnet loses magnetism outside of a magnetic field? You're right. A temporary magnet is the correct answer. The substances which are attracted by magnetic field are called as dash. Right choice. Paramagnetic substances is the best answer. What are diamagnetic and paramagnetic metals essentially considered as? On track. Non-magnetic is the correct answer. Dash field are needed to produce magnetic saturation in hard direction. Strong choice. Greater is the right answer. Dash materials are used for recording, reading audio and video signals. Well reasoned. Magnetic is the correct choice. The place on a magnet where the force it exerts is the strongest is called. Nice selection. A magnetic pole is the correct and valid answer. If a substance is slightly attracted by magnetic fields, it is said to be. Well picked. Paramagnetic is the correct answer. What causes a material to become a magnet when placed in a magnetic field? Valid point. Alignment of magnetic domains is true. What is that section of a magnet where magnetic lines of force concentrate? You're right. Magnetic pole is the correct answer. In a magnetic field, where do the arrows on the field patterns always point from? Solid response. North to south is a valid choice. A group of atoms that has all like poles pointing in the same direction are called. Nice work. You chose magnetic domains and it is correct. Paper clips and staples are attracted to magnets because paper clips and staples are. Nicely done. Magnetic materials is a solid answer. What produces a magnetic effect on individual atoms, acting like a tiny electromagnet? You chose electron motion, and it is correct. This origin of magnetic moments results from the orbital motion of electrons around a nucleus. Good job. Your answer, orbital magnetic moment, works well here. Certain materials such as iron, cobalt, and nickel that exhibit strong magnetic effects are called. Bravo. Ferromagnets is the answer. If a substance is slightly repelled by magnetic fields, cannot become magnetized, and is known as. Well done. Diamagnetic is the right choice. The grouping of atoms in the tiny regions of magnetic materials, such as iron and nickel, are called. Great thinking. Domains is the right choice. What is the term for the region where all magnetic dipole moments are aligned in the same direction? Perfect. Domain is the correct choice. What is produced around a cylindrical coil of wire when there is a current, similar to a bar magnet? Exactly. Magnetic field makes sense and it is right choice. The materials which show permanent magnetism, even in the absence of magnetic field, are called dash material. Right again. Ferromagnetic is a valid answer. In dash substances, the electron orbits produce small magnetic fields that oppose the external magnetic field. Sharp thinking. Diamagnetic is the right choice. The entire region surrounding a magnet is known as the.
Correct response. Magnetic field is the most accurate answer.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Excellent choice. Contact Narayan Changda is the right answer.